we are now at planning your six-figure film. And the goal right now is for you to walk away with answers to two questions. Is making AI movies and shows right for you? And if so, how can we strategize your budget, timeline, and more to ensure you can do this sustainably and ideally, although I can't make a promise, profitably? Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to do, we're going to do this session in three parts. I'm going to dive into the movie machine, and I'm going to do a high level overview. Okay. We're going to get into all the nitty gritty in future sessions, but I want you to understand the overall process of what this looks like, because I view the movie machine as a new art form. Then we're going to dive into the pricing calculator and the pilot process and talk all about how you can develop a pilot for your film cost effectively so that you're not spending a lot of money in a pocket to test this thing out. That is the goal. And then, of course, we'll have time for questions. So let me share my screen and let's get into the movie machine, which for many of you, this might be your first time seeing the movie machine. So without further ado, movie machine. So I processed this story already just ahead of right now because it does take for longer length books. Like this is a 100,000 word novel. It does take sometimes 40 minutes to an hour to process. If you have any issues with processing, let us know. I also want to share something that is true in beta right now and that I feel very strongly about, which is that some of you have asked like, about beta discounts and beta things of that sort. This thing is that when the movie machine works, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like if you're happy with your characters, in minutes, you're getting your characters, all their voices. I'm going to play them for you. It's really, really cool. And you're getting your entire storyboard. So now we're going to see me navigate this together. Movie machine. Yes, we have lots of projects. We've been testing a lot, to put it lightly. Now we're back. So the big thing, right, is if you get something that you're not happy with when you use the movie machine, like you're not happy with, let's say, your characters entirely, your storyboard seems super off. Mind you, you're not going to be 100% happy with it. It's AI, right? So it's not 100% ever accurate. Like there's going to be things that are a little off, and I'll teach you how to make all the changes. But if it's like really not good, okay, we will give you your money back 100%. Okay. And you're welcome to then try again. We'll try and make it better for you. Let me go to maybe an older story because I want to show you all the goodness inside. But what we'll do if I have to do some live improv is go to the pricing calculator and then we'll get this sorted out. But I basically want to give you an overview of what this new art form is. I think some of you have said, wow, this is really easy and fun. Some of you have been like, oh, this is complicated. And like, I don't understand what's going on. I didn't think it'd be this hard. I think the movie machine is pretty simple to use once you get it. And it's not, you will get it even right now at a high level. Like I'll share it all with you. You'll be like, oh, this makes sense. Like I got it. So let's see. Cool. Clearing the cache worked. So that's a note for everyone here. If you have issues with Creatorwood, clear your browser cache and we'll get it working again. It's not always that simple, but it was that simple this time. So here we are. I'm in one of my stories. And what I'll actually do here, let me go back to, I wanted to show you the other one. So now that we're up and working again, I want to show you the other one. So let's go back to the movie machine. This is actually a good little sort of intro. First, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of a little all over the place. Like I have like a run of show, but I didn't script out every sentence. The first thing I'll share here is that we are actively building out a lot of tutorials. And since we're in beta, not all of them are live yet. So I'm very happy to hop on a call with any of you. Many of you here, I've just randomly hopped on a call with you in support. I've been like, here's my cell, call me. Because we're also trying to learn from you where the problems are to make certain parts easier. Like why create a help guide about a button if it doesn't make sense, we can just make the button better. That's kind of our mindset right now. But what you'll do when you create a new project, right, is you'll enter in your title, you pick a style preset. This is the style of your film, anime, cartoon, photorealistic. Then you upload your story file and we give you a pricing estimate on how much it's going to cost for us to create your characters, your objects, settings, all of their voices for the characters, and your entire storyboard, right? That's the first part. So Creatorwood is pay as you go. And the cost to do this for a full-length novel or a full-length script is anywhere from $50 to $100. If you have like a shorter script, short film, it might be as low as $20. So there's a range. So there's that. Now, let me go into the actual project. Once you process it, takes a bit of time, but 30 minutes to an hour, you'll get an email. And that email is going to contain all the characters in your film. So how I think about this filmmaking process is there's three steps. Director's notes, which is kind of like what you do as you're starting to like plan out your film, right? It's getting the casting, it's getting that locations planned out. And what's really important about this step is we use these images and voices to maintain character and setting consistency throughout your story, which is really exciting, but it's really important you get this looking how you want. Now, AI will do a really good job getting you 90% of the way there. And that's so powerful, by the way, that AI can do that. But AI doesn't understand exactly what you want always. Oftentimes, you don't even know what you want. You almost have to see one version of it and then go, I think I want to change this about it. The good news is you can change any setting. You can upload your own image if you have it. Make sure you have the rights to use that image. That would be helpful. I don't want people getting in trouble if you're necessarily like using an image of like a place or someone's private home. Sounds silly to mention, but just forewarning. Next is you can edit something small about the setting. So let's say this setting, I like the cinder blocks, like I like the vibe, but I actually want it to be like made of wood. So can you change the structure to be made of wood? So this is an edit. It's a small change to the image, right? It's not a big change. So what we're going to see now, it'll take sometimes up to 20 seconds here, is it change? And this is again live. I'm just messing around I'm playing with you all. We're playing together here. So we're going to see how this does and what it changes it. So this is how it changed it. Now, I would say it followed my prompt pretty well. Now, here's the deal. You can decide, do I like this version better or this version, right? Or you can make more versions. Or you can do what we call regenerate, which is generate a new version of this entirely. So this right now, we don't allow you to add regenerate notes. We will eventually, meaning soon. But when you regenerate, it basically is going to create a new image from the ground up for that setting. So it's kind of like edit is like small variations and touch ups. Regenerate is like blank slate. Let's start over here. And this is actually like a different vibe, right? It's a different vibe. And maybe I like that better or worse. It's up to you. Now, you'll notice we're in beta. There's a lot of features we're going to be adding. So all of this is here, but there's going to be moments like with regenerate, right? Where I'm like, you'll soon be able to add your own regenerate notes where I'm noting something that's going to come in the coming weeks. So there's that. And what we'll do here is show you the objects too. So you might wonder, how did we get all this? We pulled it automatically from your story. And the biggest question I get is, okay, so then how do I make my story work with the movie machine? No, don't think about it like that. I mean, it makes sense that you're thinking about it like that. I want to be clear. But our goal is for you to write your story in whatever native format you're used to writing it. If it's a novel, write a novel. If it's a screenplay, write a screenplay. If it's a script, write a script. Our job is to ingest all the information. And most importantly, the wrong mindset is trying to get it to be perfect at ingest. The goal is to get it 90% of the way there and then make the touch-ups yourself. Therefore, if you don't describe every setting in as much detail as you want, that's okay. You have an opportunity to now go back in director's notes and make that closer to your vision, right? Also, especially if like you're using scripts and trying to submit it to directors, or you're, taking books and publishing it elsewhere, it doesn't make sense to like write a book specifically for this. I'd rather you write a story, use that IP in other formats, other places. And then when you bring this IP to Creatorwood, just upload, and then we'll do the heavy lifting and adapting it for you. Now, if you, again, experience ingest that's way off, let us know. We want to make it better and make our ingest better, because think about how varied novels and scripts and screenplays are. Each one's like a snowflake. It's different. So we're constantly trying to make it better for folks. And we've gotten it to a point that it works really well most of the time. But if you're in the camp where you're like, honestly, this didn't meet my expectations, great. We want to learn from you. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to open up and see some questions here, because I know that was an info dump. And there's more info coming, because we're just talking about step one. There's 3 steps to AI filmmaking. First is director's notes. Second is storyboard. 3 is the scene editor. We're going to go through all 3 and what they do. We just basically got the principles down of step 1, but I want to stop for some questions. So Let's see. Also, can we ensure having consistency of characters persistence for a movie and a series? Yes. So we're going to be adding a feature where if you create another project, right, um, you can import characters, objects, and settings from another project to maintain that consistency. So that'll be coming out probably in the coming weeks. As I'll show you, you actually can have a high level of control over how consistent your characters are. So first of all, like not only can you say, hey, here's my base character. But you can also, if you would like, say, hey, I I want this character in this scene to look different. And we'll talk about that in the next step, like the shot by shot consistency that we give you that control over. So that's coming soon. You have phrased your edit as a question. Is this necessary or either way is fine. We're taking natural language and then changing it into a prompt for the AI. So you don't really need to prompt it. I guess I like to talk to it like I'm talking to. I don't like to necessarily tell people to do things. I like to ask them. So I guess it's just me being polite with AI, which is funny. Um, so let me see. You can add a character. If we missed a character and you want to add a new character, you can add them, describe them however you'd like, and then we'll generate a new character for you based on that, which is really, really cool. Likewise, characters also have voices. Let's do a little show and tell here. This is Carly, and Carly sounds like this. I hope it sounds okay for you guys because the Zoom thing, if it like cuts out for some, I'm sorry, but we're gonna do our best here.
Today, so I was just thinking about the beach, the one near Frio. It's just so peaceful there. Watching the waves roll in makes you forget all your worries for a bit. I reckon it's good for the soul. A bit of quiet time by the ocean.
Not too bad. But maybe that's not the accent you're going for, right? So you could type in edit voice. Someone give me what you want her voice to sound like, just for fun. We're playing around here. Type in the chat. Just anything. Innocent, young. That's a good, it's actually a very good call. I'm not going to choose that one, not because it's bad. That's great. But the reason I'm not going to choose it is to highlight a discrepancy or something that happens right now. There's lots of fun, interesting limitations of AI filmmaking. One of them right now, and this is a good thing, by the way, I want to be clear, like I support this, is the AI audio models we work with and the voices we create haven't been trained on many voices of children. So oftentimes they A, don't sound very good, or B, are blocked. A solution we're developing for that is for you to not just be able to edit voice with text, but for you to be able to take a voice from somewhere else and then us clone that voice. So imagine you have a child's voice already that you want as your character, or even someone in your family's voice. You can then clone that voice to be a character's voice. That is coming in the near future, soon. Okay. I don't want to stress Sasha out too much until it's all coming tomorrow, but it's coming within the beta period. Think in the next couple weeks. That's a workaround for it. But right now, it's probably not going to do a great job generating the voices of children. That's just our experience. With that said, Scarlett Johansson is another interesting one. I let's try it. I don't know what's going to happen. I normally would describe Scarlett Johansson, and something you can do too is like go to ChatGPT and say, hey, how would you describe what Scarlett Johansson looks like or sounds like? And then have it develop the text describing her voice and then put it into Creatorwood, right? Versus if you say Scarlett Johansson, it's probably going to block it. Mind you, let's see what happens now. Can you make this? I'm just gonna say, make it sound like Scarlett Joe. Joe. I think I'm spelling this right. John. Yeah. Let's go for it. I mean, well, no. There we go. AI should know if it's a typo there. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay. I'm gonna do the sultry southern one next because I think that should work. That'll work. But I guess through this, trying to teach you all too about like the limitations, how to think about it. It's fun stuff. Posh New York. Oh, there's so many fun stuff. The Russian femme fatale accent's great. Um, Old English as a medieval setting. On that I had to upload a twin to a seagull, and the upload was a lot different. I asked it to look like the one they made. So the question is, can you program it to listen to you describing other characters that are in the system? I said, please make him look like his twin brother. Ah, James, actually, this is This is good. Can you start a Google Doc of like in the notes of just like changes or like new features and stuff? We should add a reference image so you can upload your own image. We should add so that you can add a reference image for characters because it's important for it to get that context. So the answer to your question is, Dave, right now, if you were to say, hey, I have this character, can you make it look similar to another character because they're siblings? It's probably not going to do the best job with that. But what we can do is add a new feature where you can upload an image, just say, hey, this is the image of that character. Here it is. Can you make it look like its brother? And it would probably do very well with that. So these are all like the bells and whistles. How I like to think about Creatorwood right now is we basically have this Ferrari engine that we've given you. It's very, very powerful. And I'm talking to you about how it works in detail. And it's so much fun. It's really fun to drive a Ferrari, right? But right now, because we're in beta, it's like, oh, well, sometimes the engine has these little kinks in it. And more importantly, this is the real thing about it. It's like you're getting into the car and it's like, where's the seat? Mind you, it's better than that, but the seat doesn't have leather yet. Or the control panel or the gears, we can shift in some gears. How you like control this machine, we have a lots to add to. And we're working with you all to figure that out. So that's a great point where, yes, let's build it. We'll have a list today, I'm sure, coming out of all these interesting things that we can build and prioritize. Because mind you, there's like a million things we can do. But it helps me to see what you guys think about and your problems that come up first because we'll want to solve them. Okay. Copyright infringement, Andrew's right. You can't use anyone's voice without permission, but we are going to be working on eventually developing a library where people, whether they're actors or just anyone, can upload their likeness, image, or voice into Creatorwood, and they can basically you can use it for a fee, of course, and they'll be compensated. That's something that we want to build in the future because I think that this should be part of it, and they can approve what films are part of so their voice isn't used in a film they don't approve. And what's really easy, yeah, I can get technical about it. It's just so much fun. We can do all of that, and that will happen in a more medium term future. This is why this is like truly like an, the possibilities here are almost endless. I have a hit audio radio series. Can the movie machine follow the audio narrative once I upload the stories? Um, you can bring in your own audio. We're adding that soon. What we're going to be doing soon, Steven, is like allowing people at processing to upload music or potentially audio as well into the processing so that we can take that data in and then build the story around that. Right now, it's a little bit more of a manual process when you're incorporating feeding the movie machine at processing any data besides text, right? But we're going to be working on so that you can process images. So if you have a comic book, you can upload it and make a comic book, a movie directly from a comic book. And same thing with audio dramas, music, things of that nature. We're kind of expanding. Like we originally built this for novels. So many people came in and wanted scripts. We immediately expanded into scripts, and we're going to be expanding into pretty much any media that you can then turn into a movie. That's going to happen. Will it be authentic to cultures and accents? Rodney, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you have to regenerate. Tried a few times. All these changes do cost a fee. It's roughly 10 cents per little tweak you make to a voice or image. Any text change you make costs nothing, but we do have to like rerun the image again, rerun the voice again, and recreate it. So it's pretty cheap. And if you were to test, like if you were to experiment like 1,000 times, you would spend $100. But hopefully, most of you with an extra $4 to $5 can get it to a place you're happy with. That's our goal in terms of these voices and character images. But Rodney, I think it does good. Sometimes it does bad sometimes. Or it does not as good, I should say. The key is we're going to be allowing speech to speech soon, which will allow you, if it doesn't do as well with what you're looking for, to do better at it. Um, Perfect. Uh, yeah. We're going to at some point, Crystal, I'm sure, allow you to edit through audio so that you can kind of work with it and you're not even typing anything in. Um, can I add my own music? Great question. You can add your own music in the editing step, not in the ingest. So once we kind of like have your storyboard, you can then add your music after the film's made. And again, we can work on doing that at ingest too. So it includes the exact music up front. Yes, Dieter, exactly. Definitely friends and family. Absolutely. Um, that's a great question, Mimi. We're still probably like jury's out on that. We have right now, if you go to the content guidelines, we have a specific like content guidelines of what we don't allow and what we restrict. But we need to kind of build out more guidelines for like family versus PG-13 versus all these things, and also kind of think from first principles if that's the right way to think about it. I think it probably will be. We won't deviate too much from it. Is the short story. Okay. That was a lot of questions I answered. I'm going to keep going now. We're going to keep going through this process so that you can just see it at a high level. And again, we're going to get even more granular soon. It'll be fun. I think we're probably diving into how to do it first. And then in my next session, I'll talk about, now that you know how to do it, how to like plan it. I think we're reversing the sessions. That's fine. Um, I knew there'd be improv here. So let's pretend, we're pretending now. We've spent some time, we got these characters, what we used to. And by the way, I hope people understand that, like, one, you should be taking your time to look through these characters. You should. And two, hopefully you're pretty happy with a lot of them, but it's also expected that you're going to take some time to edit the others. So let's pretend you're happy with all your character settings and objects. Now it's time for where the real magic begins, which is the storyboard. So the storyboard contains two parts. I want to actually be clear that we're moving the start frame step into the storyboard. So the storyboard is going to evolve and look different in a positive way, in a more intuitive way. So this is going to evolve, but the features of it and what it does functionally is this. The goal of director's notes is to maintain consistency throughout your story so that the key settings and characters show up in your film the way you want. That's the goal. The goal of the storyboard is at a shot by shot level to plan out your story in a way that's going to lead to a film that you're pleased with. And there's two really important notes here. One is that we create all of the shots right up front for you. A novel turned into 456 scenes, roughly 4,000 shots. So when you guys are talking about like paying like $80 to $100 at ingest, you might be thinking, what am I getting? You're getting 4,000 shots planned out for you oftentimes. It's not always 4,000 shots, but this is literally 4,000 shots. And for many of you, it's going to be thousands of shots. So you're paying like a penny per shot, and think about how much time this saves you. If you even like 80% of these, it's going to save you. Oh, the time it saves you is forever. This is why we built this, to save you time so you can do this. Focus on the story and then be the director. So here for the storyboard, the big thing is the most expensive part of the process, and we're going to go to the pricing calculator and look at it all together. The most expensive part of this process is generating film, generating video. The reason why is because that's where we have most of our expenses coming in. Think about it. It takes a lot of compute to serve that up. I mean, just loading a video, right? Like takes energy for your computer, it takes bandwidth. Generating a video is a whole other ball game. It's exponentially more. So that's where most of our expenses come in, and therefore where most of your expenses come in. But the trick is this. If we get a good storyboard that we're happy with, we don't have to spend as much money in the filming, because ideally we can be pretty happy with our first draft and don't have to change that much about it, right? That's our goal. And think about it, the analogy is traditional filmmaking. You plan out your scenes, you do that pre-work, and then when it actually comes time to film, hopefully you're going to have some retakes always, but you're not like filming the same movie 4 or 5 times. That's going to dramatically increase the production cost. So this is probably your biggest lever outside of what we'll talk about in our next session, which is the pilot strategy. This is your biggest lever to getting high quality per minute film without spending a ton of money in a pocket, because using the storyboard smartly. So let's talk about how to use this storyboard and what some of the bells and whistles are here. And I want to just put another signpost in right now that I have definitely improved, and we kind of switched, I guess, one session. I thought we were going to plan our films, then talk about the movie machine, but you all want to see the movie machine, which is amazing. So we're in the movie machine first. We'll talk about planning your film and how to approach it later. We're too deep in. We're going through the movie machine. So that's just a signpost. So the big thing here, right, is now, what do we do with this storyboard? What do we do? Like, what do we do? This is a lot. It can be overwhelming. Like, look at this, 456 scenes. Oh my God. So the first thing is, if you want to see a specific section of your story, you can look it up. So like, I might want to see what are scenes that involve this character. Bang. This is the main protagonist. Most of the scenes involve her in one way or another, right? So maybe that's not too helpful. But mind control, it's a sci-fi novel. Mind control is a pretty big part of this book. So you could see where this comes in, the theme of mind control. You can search up for specific settings, etc. Whatever is kind of in your scene, we try and title the scene by like the key actions, objects, etc. in it. Mind you, all this was AI generated. I have not touched a thing here. It's amazing. So your job now is not, oh, let me write all these storyboards and spend 100 hours or 200 hours, but let me spend a couple hours touching it up. Might even be more than a couple hours, and that's okay. I mean, however long this takes you is part of the process, and I hope you have fun with it. So what we'll do here is look at this shot and go, okay, the shot is Natalie lies rigid in bed, eyes wide, struggling about invasive hallucinations. Then she has this dialogue that says this is all bullshit. Camera notes is medium close up on Natalie's face, slight handheld sway to emphasize unsettled mental state. Okay. And then these are the sound cues. Low ambient hum of the room. This is what we're going to use to develop the audio and video, all in one click for this shot. In fact, you're going to click one button to generate the entire scene. But before we get there, we want to make sure we're happy with these shots. So I might say, you know what? Let's use something that came up earlier. Let's pretend this is like a PG film and bullshit is not something we want in that. We can change this to say, instead of this is all bullshit, we can say this is all not good. So now I can click save. Now this will be the dialogue that this person says. It'll say, this is all not good. Now you can continue each shot, right? Editing the dialogue, adding the camera notes, anything you want. Anything you want. But what you'll notice here is like, this isn't necessarily a traditional storyboard. For any of you who've seen a storyboard, storyboards traditionally are a more visual representation of your story. And you're getting like the characters and objects, but you're not like really seeing it. That's the next step. That's the next step. So I'm going to click this button right now and generate start frames. This is 10 coins or essentially $1. When I click this, what ends up happening here, let's go, is it gives you this modal. It tells you that you're charged now for start frames. Later, you'll be charged the video cost. The estimated cost for this is roughly going to be a minute of film. It's going to roughly be 200 coins or $20. One coin equals 10 cents. Which again, with that, 60 minutes of film, roughly $200. So great. I'm going to click generate. I see this. I click generate without changing much about the storyboards. I want to be clear. So you can play around with it more. I'm doing this live. As it's generating, I'm going to show you some more things, and then we're going to see what this does. But what you'll notice is it's not a visual representation of your story yet. Start frames are where you can now see the storyboard come to life and then edit those before we go and produce the film. And I love the start frames. So we're going to look at it and see it together. But what I want to give you in terms of insights here is how to think about when we are looking at, let's say, we got the bedroom here, got Natalie. This image of Natalie is different from the image on the homepage. At least it should be. Probably is. Let's see if my magic's working. So Natalie's there. We saw that image of her, and she was pretty good. So the same, okay, she's the same in this scene. But what ends up happening, so that you know what we're doing behind the scenes, is we're not just generating 3 images for you and then a start frame. We're generating what we call variants. And essentially, we're building a model of each specific scene. So we're generating multiple images to almost kind of capture the environment. So you just see the start frame, but behind the scenes, we're building out the environment to try and maintain consistency. Likewise, each character is going to look slightly different in each shot, meaning not different in terms of like what their face looks like, but different in terms of what they're wearing. Now, this is an exciting feature that's going to be coming soon to Creatorwood. We're going to soon be giving you control over it so that you have wardrobe variants. So for each scene, you can change the wardrobe of a character. That's what you'll do here. And that'll be all the fun little buttons you press to then create your start frame. Likewise, we'll eventually allow you to do variants for things like setting, like time of day, right? Like settings will look different at night versus daytime, or if they're light or dark. So these are all things that we're going to give you very granular control over that are coming soon. And we've built this into the backend already because that's already how we're able to give you like a high fidelity film. And I mean, to put it lightly, like this is why the movie machine is valuable. Like imagine doing all of that yourself. Imagine coming out all this and prompting and all that. Like that literally happens automatically. You don't have to do a thing. Now, again, we're in beta. We're building out more controls. We're making it even better and more reliable. But we're at a stage now where it's pretty cool. And I want to show you what these start frames look like. So what you'll end up getting is basically an email when the start frames are done generating. And we'll work on making the loading time better so that you can see it. And it'll be great. But for now, just think, oh, little beta kink is like, it's weird. Try not to click the same button twice. Try not to. Like I'll do it right now and just show you, like it'll all be okay. But basically what'll end up happening when you do that is you're gonna queue up the same task again. And yeah, see, it didn't like that. Didn't like it at all. What I would recommend doing is not pressing it twice. If you do and you're charged for it, we'll refund you back. Do not worry. These things happen. But I'm showing you how you can break it in real time. Just don't panic. We'll refund you. It'll all be okay. But do not press the same button twice. At least try not to. If you press a button and it does nothing for like a long period of time, just reach out to our team and we're gonna get on again, making these loading indicators more intuitive so that you can see all these things in time. So let's go back to our storyboard, our trusty storyboard. Boop, boop, boop. So we're generating our start frames here, which is great. So now we can see it loading, which is great. Take a few minutes. So in our sort of break, as we wait, I'm going to take some questions about this storyboard step. I hope you're seeing a little bit how it's coming together, right? You got your director's notes, then you get the storyboard, and next is like where obviously the real magic happens. But is there any questions about this initial part of storyboarding? Put it in the chat. I'm going to get to it right now before we move on to this scene editor step. And mind you, I want to be kind of careful to note here. Maybe not careful is the wrong word. I'm also going to stop sharing my screen because I lost the comments. So let me stop sharing my screen so I can see this. I'll share again in a few minutes. Nothing's happening on the screen right now anyways, so we'll just talk for a little bit. I really am viewing this now as a new art form. I'm going to show you a video shortly of me and Jonathan Briel, fantastic, wonderful, amazing human who I've met through Creatorwood. And we kind of played around with the movie machine Friday night and made a scene together. And I'll give you all the context and background to show it to you at the top of the next hour. That's what we're going to kick it off with. Exciting. But what I want to say is that I think this is a new like way of making film, like a new art form. And I think that like what's fun about it is that A, we get to build it together, but B, I hope it becomes something that you end up enjoying. Like I hope when you write a script or you write a book that you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy this. And we want to do everything we can to take the frustration away and make it fun to play with because these great films are going to come to life, not just with AI pressing a button, you sitting back. Mind you, AI is extremely powerful, but it's going to happen when you work with the AI to make something incredible. So we want to make it fun to work with the AI. That's our goal here. So let me start getting some questions. How long to create storyboard? Steve, right when you ingest, 30 minutes to an hour, it's all created. For a long thing. Shorter thing will be faster. In terms of like your edits to it, um, you know, mileage may vary. You could rip through it very quickly if you want. I'm going to show you what it looks like for me where I'm not editing it much, and we'll see the scene I generate. But then we'll work with some of you all live and generate some scenes together. That's going to happen, by the way. So folks know we're going to be doing the live scene generation at 3 p.m. Eastern because next hour we're going to be wrapping up the sort of tutorial. And then we're going to dive into we're diving into the pricing and the pilot strategy. I think that's super important. So we're doing that. Sophia, hi. Sophia asked, how about an 8-minute AI movie already made, manual elsewhere in format and before? Can it be anyway edited, transformed in Creatorwood? Not right now, Sophia. You could upload it to Creatorwood if you want, because YouTube also banned monetization for any AI content. So you can't make money on YouTube if you have AI content. But the short answer is you could probably, if you want to extend the film, you can share the rest of the story and generate it through Creatorwood. We will be allowing you to upload it into Creatorwood's editor and using the editor in Creatorwood, which is going to be really fun. But the editor still is like in beta stage right now. So like features like that are coming. So I would say it's probably not super useful to you now, but wait a couple weeks, certainly a couple months, and it might be really useful to you. Okay. So Paul says, can you control things like depth of field, camera lens, lighting for mood, tone, etc.? Yeah, you can put that all in the camera notes. It'll do pretty well with the camera lens, but don't expect it to be like exactly accurate. One thing I think to note about AI filmmaking is that like some traditional filmmaking words are helpful, sometimes it's not. So like it might not look exactly like a 35 mm each time. It might just be like that sort of high quality film you're going for. So that's just one thing to note is like AI has variance, right? So you want to sometimes embrace the chaos and also control it. Um, Andrew says, when you load your story, are you emailed to let you know when it's ready to start the process? Yes, you are. Also, it'd be great to have a reference. Yes, we do need to add that, Andrew. We have it ready. It's just one of those small little things we haven't gotten to update yet. We've been feverishly just trying to get the core of the movie machine ready for today, and we're very excited it's ready. But this is kind of that sort of analogy of you're stepping into the Ferrari, but It's like, how do I shift gears? Or like, is this the gas pedal? Like it's not labeled correctly. That's a good thing. So Neil says, what if I want to make a music video, one of my own songs, and have the characters lip sync my lyrics? Is that possible? It will be, Neil. We're going to be allowing you to ingest music into the movie machine to then output a video. That'll happen. It's just not possible right now. Right now, you could, in the editor, bring music into the movie machine, but you're going to need to have some text to start with. So you could upload text to the song. I just don't know how well it's going to work with it, right? Because we're really designed for scripts, stories, books, like things like that. But music is on our roadmap. It's on our roadmap because we've gotten folks like you requesting it. Francis, I signed up for a novel workshop for the next weeks. Yeah, Francis, you, oh, absolutely. I mean, y'all, this is hopefully something you can get excited by, but there's no rush. I'm going to share outside of the coins that we're dropping into your accounts now. There are going to be some things I share that I'll pause and start to prime you guys with that if you want to kind of really invest and get started on Creatorwood today, that will reward you for it, reward you for being early with extra help, some really cool perks, and things that we won't be offering in the future. But that this isn't supposed to be like oh my God, this is your only chance. You have to use this now. It's just supposed to be like, if you're excited and want to try it now, we want to help you along and give you the extra help. But if you're like, I've got a busy couple weeks, absolutely. The platform is going to be even better in a couple weeks and we'll still be here. We're just going to keep growing and going. There's no pressure or rush. But if you're excited about it, I will be sharing some ways that we're going to help channel that excitement starting now to do some pretty cool things. Dave, I uploaded a fresh document that also had the series about the top for the script. It seemed to that I got a really good storyboard and characters were all there. Just a statement. Dave, cool. Noted. That's cool. That's cool. It's so fun because like everyone's uploading different things. It's like, oh, this look really, has anyone uploaded a story Bible yet? At the top of the story, you might be the first. You might not be, but you're the first I'm hearing of it, and I'm glad it turned out good for you. Is it recommended to upload the screenplay version of a novel to Movie Machine in order to create a storyboard? If you have it, can't hurt. If you have it, can't hurt. In fact, you could try, especially during the beta too, you could try doing like one screenplay, and then if you have like a script or like more like a written story version, you could try both and see what you like better and let us know. My hunch is that we have some work to do with screenplays and scripts to get it perfected because we started off with novels. So novels are in a pretty good place. But the sort of caveat to that is, let me share my screen here. Novels will probably give you, so here's the trick. Novels will give you a more accurate storyboard, but that needs more trimming down. Scripts and screenplays might be a slightly less accurate storyboard, but it doesn't need much trimming down. It's probably good the way it is. Right. And we're working to make both like even better. So it's like not even 90%, but like 95% what you want right up front. But if I share my screen here, what we'll see on this storyboard, we're going to view our start frames soon. They're ready, by the way. I'm just kind of going through the questions. Okay, let's read through these shots. Natalie lies in the bed, eyes fluttering open in shock. Okay. Natalie slowly moves her hand over. Okay. I'm going quick, but there's so much to show. So Natalie slowly sits up in the bed. These are probably good, but like they're good. But I've found that with novels, maybe 20% of the time, you want to cut the shot because it's too verbose. Now we're working on adapting it so that it's like better at trimming, like we'll see the fat from a novel because there's lots of information about a novel that's meant for the reader to paint the picture in their mind, but that isn't very helpful or can be redundant in a storyboard, right? So we're working on that. The thing with scripts and screenplays is that there's nuances to scripts and screenplays and how that information and data is stored that we're working on making our system better to do, although that information is much higher fidelity. What I mean by that is that in a screenplay, like that information should almost one-to-one be in the storyboard. And I think right now you might see that it's not perfect because sometimes the AI has its own mind and is like, oh, I want to change the dialogue to that. So we're working on making it so that like it's a more true adaptation of the story, the screenplays. Whereas with novels, it's very good at adapting it. The problem is it's like sometimes the novel itself needs some more trimming of the fat. So there's pros and cons to anything you upload in right now, meaning like you're going to have to do work on it regardless, I would imagine. Again, it's gonna be good. You're probably gonna be pretty happy with it. But it's not gonna be perfect, and we're working to improve it every single day. So that's my long story short. I'm going to get back to questions in a little bit, but I want to share with you the start frames now. So let's go back to scene one, and you'll see here, scene one, cool. It says view your start frames. You're gonna click on this. We're moving start frames into the storyboard because it's really part of the storyboard. It's a little confusing right now that when I click view start frames, it takes me to the scene editor. We're fixing that. Okay, y'all. This, I think, is the coolest part about this process. Like once it's gonna start to click for you where you go like, oh, I see how this act like I see how this makes movies now. I see how I can make a movie with this. So these are the start frames. And we can see here how the character looks in every single frame. And we can see the visual progression of this scene, right? And then we get a summary of it. This is really cool. And again, you edit those first shots, the kind of rough draft storyboard, the description of the storyboard, and the description of the story gives you the frame. And this is the start frame in particular. Now, what you'll notice are a few interesting things, right? The lighting is not consistent with the rest. This is awesome. Perfect. This is good lighting. This is like, what? She just randomly turned on the lights? That's AI being bad, right? That's AI being bad. What's great though is before you spend roughly $2 in a shot you don't like, that you're not going to use because it's not consistent, we can now go in and edit this. So we can use another shot as a reference image. So I can then take, let's say, this is again not consistent with the other one. So I can take shot 8 here, or I can even do shot 9, honestly. And I could say, let's save image. We'll make it even easier for you to one click drag these things. But right now I just right click, save to computer. I'll do shot 9, scene 1. So now this is saved to my computer. What I'll do is click save and we'll go back to this one that I'm like, y'all, yeah, this isn't consistent. And again, why is it not consistent? Because AI is not deterministic. It's probabilistic. It's generative, meaning that if you tell it to do something, even if you give it very exact instructions, it's not always going to follow it to a T. Mind you, this is where a lot of happy accidents happen. AI ignores you, but you're like, I actually like what it did. And sometimes, like in this instance, I'm like, yeah, you didn't follow instructions and I don't like it. Mind you, we're constantly working to rein it in even more. And we pushed another update last night to make this even better. So it's constantly getting better, but like, just don't expect perfection. That's just not going to happen. And mind you, why would you want to be perfect? This is your art now to inject your opinion and your taste into. So I click this button here. What I can do, first of all, is I can change the duration of the shot. Right now, by default, most shots are shifting towards 6 seconds. You can adjust it to be any length you want. To be candid with you, we're going to be making more 4 seconds and more 8 seconds. Just right now, with how the kind of system's built, it's just biasing a little bit more than I'd like towards 6 seconds. This is just one of those small touches that we'll add. But and also 4, 6, and 8 seconds is what we're limited to right now being able to generate. Over time, we're going to be able to allow you to generate different length shots. So like 2 second shots, 1 second shots, 10 second shots. This is just one of those like fun, like, okay, AI is going to like keep improving and allow even more opportunities. So let me click this edit button, right? And what it tells us here is tell us what you'd like to change about this image. You can describe the changes you want and or upload a reference image to guide the edit. So I'm going to upload my reference image here. And then what would I like to change? Well, I'd say the background of the existing image is too light. Please adjust the lighting to be similar to this reference image. And if you're wondering, like, Michael, is there like a specific strategy how you're prompting it? No, absolutely not. I'm using natural language. I'm speaking it to it how I would speak to a collaborator. And we are on the back end adjusting your natural language and turning it into a prompt that can communicate with the AI. Your goal is not to become an expert at communicating with AI. Your goal is to become an expert at how to adjust the story or really direct the story. So I'm going to click edit here. We're going to let it do its thing and we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. I'm excited. You never know. But you can now see how you can adjust the start frames. Because if you're happy with your start frames, you're much more likely to be happy with your video and you have that granular level of control. So, see here, it changed some of it. Background maybe was too much because it changed the background lighting, but it took it very literal. It changed just the background of her bathroom. It didn't change her actual room lighting. So I'm going to go through this process again. This is just what you have to do. Reference image here and say, can you adjust the lighting of this image to be darker? Let's try that. And I will admit, sometimes like we're going to see if we get this going and working well for us. You sometimes play around with it a little bit. And sometimes we've had folks who are like, I've tried 10 times to get what I want. It's not doing what I want. Reach out to us because we're A, happy to one, guide you. And two, sometimes it's like something we can adjust and make the system better, right? Something that we can do to make it better. And that's constantly what we're facing now in beta. For some reason, I didn't see the new scene come up here. So let me try it again because let me refresh. Again, this is all beta stuff showing you it hot off the press. So let me refresh here. Let's see if it pops up. If not, I'll try it again. Here we go. It did do it. It just had to refresh. See, these are the funky things. But you're learning. So we're learning together. But yeah, I'm much more happy with that shot now. So we can see the shot progression for everyone. This is the current shot. And you can at any time switch. Like if I want this to be the shot, like if I want that weird one to be the shot, see that? I switched. Let me make sure we get this. If I click in, you have a history of all your start frames. So if I like a previous start frame more than my recently generated one, I can click it, hit this checkbox, we're good to go. Now, I like this one. It finally got a lot closer to what I want and is now much more consistent with the scene. Now, what you might want to go from here is adjust even more camera angle and say, hey, I want the camera angle to be this way in the scene and that way. And you can change that all in the start frame. But again, I'm happy with this right now. So we're going to stop right now because we're going to kick off the next hour all about video generation, video editing, and then we're going to talk about pilots. I apologize for kind of, uh, you know, adjusting the session times. We are improvising live. I've realized that these sessions will be better before the other ones based on your all feedback, which I'm very grateful for. So our next session, we're going to be focused on video generation. Specifically, we're going to be focused on turning these start frames into a scene that you're happy with, stringing multiple scenes together to make a movie you're happy with, and how you can edit along the way. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to take any questions in the next 5 minutes, but let me catch up on these questions. Can you do close-ups, MCUs, master shots, aerial image? Daniel, great question. Yeah, so having like, you have one start frame. So you can adjust using natural language how you want the start frame to be. There's camera notes in the storyboard too. So you can just click the camera notes. Let me show you. So we go here, you can adjust camera notes here and add any of that in. That's the short story there. I'll actually just keep my screen shared because I have a feeling, well, wait, can I see questions and have shared screen? Yes. Great. Cool. Let's keep going. Nikki says, I had variations of one character's name. They were hiding, so changed their last name and it created two or more characters the same person. Can I get rid of one of them or does that matter and just need to remove the character I just don't want from the storyboard? Nikki, great question. We're going to be adding a feature shortly for you to be able to merge characters. So if the movie machine creates duplicate of characters, or you just want to merge characters for any reason, we're creating a feature to merge it. Your options now are to delete it from the movie machine or wait, and create like other types of scenes. And there's always workarounds, right, with like the software, but that's a bell and whistle that we're going to add for you shortly. I am already getting stuff from my head. I'm happy, Francis. Can we upload a meta human character created in Unreal Engine? Use it in our movie here. You can upload image files right now. So like JPEGs, PNGs. If it's like a 3D kind of file, a 3D model, right now we don't ingest those, but we will eventually. Lulu says, I hope character designer image for a particular project would not be regenerated of another project. All be used outside yours by AI. Yeah, so that your data is private to you. So it's not like anyone's going to be able to see your images and then rip off what you're doing. Like your story is yours. And we're not like ripping off your story and sharing with other people or like having them take your exact images. Like everything is being uniquely generated from the ground up based on your story. So that's a great question, Lulu. Let's see. So you can add, so this is a great question. I don't think I touched on this. Because there is a lot of different things to touch on. But you can add a shot to your storyboard too. See this button? Anywhere I can add a shot, and it'll add this shot where it is. And then what it'll allow me to do is adjust characters, settings, etc. Can we cast our own actors? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you just need their permission, and then you could use their likeness. Yeah. You could use their image. I want to fly the camera around her slowly, then back out the window and see the house grow smaller and smaller. I can seamlessly link shots to it. Exactly. You can add, if you want to adjust the storyboard and like add multiple shots in sequence, absolutely. And I'll show you how it's all generated in a little bit. So Jordan, you can export to anywhere. You get the raw MP4. You can upload anywhere, anywhere. So it's up to you. And I'll be telling you about what we do on Creatorwood if you want to upload to the Creatorwood streaming platform. Yes, yeah, exactly, Andrew. That's exactly it. Um, I'll go back and show you, Troy, how to change the time of the shots right now as we kick off the next session. So, and let me see here. Cool. Great. Okay. Yeah, I'll answer that question next time. I think other ones. So subtitles for AI, Coco, we're adding. So like right now, subtitling is not built in natively in the editor into Creatorwood software. It's more so focused on the video and audio generation, but we'll be adding subtitles and automatic dubbing soon. Yeah, give us some time on that. I used to work for Mr. Beast, and one of the things I did was kind of led their localization. And through that, it was awesome. I got to learn so much about how to like use technology and also people to be able to adapt films and localize films to different languages. So I'm really excited for that because I think as a team we can knock that out of the park. But it's not here right now. Can we get an audiobook from the upload? Um, you're thinking the right way. We're gonna be having a feature. Everyone on the team is gonna hate me because I keep talking about future things that aren't live yet. But we do have plans in the not so distant future to allow you to create an audio drama from your book or from your script automatically. So multicast and make it really beautiful. That's just one of the things you can do. Once you ingest into Creatorwood, our goal is to make it so that instead of just making movies, you can make trailers, you can make all these different things. Like with a click of a button, you can like enter trailer world. And it's like, cool, we know all this about your story. Now we take a great trailer for you. We know all this about the story. We can make an audio drama for you. And I think it's fun. It's fun. Lori, I would fix that. I would fix that. To be clear, I was like kind of showing you a demo and like I would definitely like be more particular about fixing the hair precisely. Um, okay. Let's kick off the next. Oh, great question. Transitions between shots are coming. I'll talk more about that. Andrew, can you run more than one project at the same time? We can have one person do multiple. We definitely like 24/7 have multiple projects running at a time. So it's to me, I don't think it would be a problem. I think we can handle it. Well, you won't have the same each image is uniquely generated. Think about it like how much images you think about how much faces there are. Like we're not pulling images from existing characters. We're literally generating new images for each of you. That's why there's an expense to all this because it is created just for you. We're not pulling from existing characters. So yeah, I mean like if you get a million people in a room, I'm sure two of them will look similar. But like there are 7 billion people in the world, and as humans, we can all distinguish between everyone. Actually, it's 8 billion people. So, yeah. Okay, let me kick off the next session. I want to now talk about video. I'm going to take a pause because for those who are wondering, we still have 6 hours left. And you might be thinking, there's no way we could possibly talk about Creatorwood for 6 hours. But the truth is, we definitely can. So there's a lot to cover. But I want to give you all like everything, all the knowledge, everything. Okay, let's dive in. So what I want to share first is uh, this video. I'm going to share my screen. And it's kind of this moment where we're finally going to go from start frames to scene generation. And I think that's like the real magical moment where you're like, wow, my story has come to life. It's like Frankenstein, but in a good way, not like it's like a great story that's now come to life. But it's kind of like that Frankenstein moment. Like, it's like, I can't believe technology did this. And part of it is like trusting that like it's scary when you press one button and one button costs you 15, 20, $25 depending on the length of the scene, which is what it costs to generate a scene. It costs exactly $18.75 per minute of video generated on Creatorwood. That's the exact price. So obviously not every scene's a minute long. So every scene is the mileage may vary there, but that's the pricing. So again, if it's a great minute, amazing. You can get a film for $1,200. That's not too bad. That's an hour long. You can get a 10-minute episode for a couple $100. And mind you, I'll talk more and more about the business side of it in a minute and how we can, that's not in a minute, in an hour. But the big thing, right, is so what? I've gotten 18, I've spent $20 on this thing. If it's bad, it's not worth anything. If it's not good, it's, oh God, this is terrible. What you need to expect going into it is that you're not going to be happy with 100% of your shots. But if you're happy with 80, 90% of them, you keep those shots and you regenerate the ones you don't like and only pay for those shots, not for the full scene again. Meaning that we can get pretty far in a first draft, but still, I'm telling you that. You haven't seen it yet. But it's really scary because even when I show you today, everyone else's stories, you're gonna be like, oh my God, like, can my story really do that in one shot? Can it really do that? And we're gonna be doing like at least an hour, maybe more of like live story demos. That's coming. We'll see when we do it because I want to talk about planning the next hour. So I'm thinking like 2 hours from now, we'll start doing live stories. I think that's when we'll hit that moment and we start generating stories live with folks. And I'll bring a few of you on stage with me. So process your stories now if you haven't yet. Go to creatorwood.tv. The support team is there. But between them, we need to still talk about two more things. How do we actually generate video? And then given that we can do this now and we understand this, what should we actually do with it? Like what story should we upload? How do we approach this? So we're getting to that. But there's this moment that we have, right? Where it's like, what's going to happen? Right? Is this going to work well? Is this going to completely fail and do terrible for my story? And it's scary because it's like real money. And I'm really careful. Like, this is why we actually delayed the beta launch of the movie machine by so long, because we wanted to be very confident this could work most of the time. Like 89% of the time, it comes out with something that you're really pleased with. But I want to give you, because we're in beta, the same guarantee, the gentleman's agreement, so to speak, that I gave you all for ingest, which is if you're not happy with ingest, if it didn't meet your expectations, and I hope I'm being honest about what these expectations are. Please don't expect Marvel movies. Please don't expect to be perfect. I'm going to show you some examples too, so you can get it, that are like reasonable, right? These are reasonable examples that it makes this most of the time, and we're going to see it live. But if you go, oh my God, this was terrible, like all this was like something like went super wrong, because every story is like a snowflake and things can happen. On a gentleman's agreement, as long as you're being honest with us, we're very happy to refund you for a scene. What we do in full, and we lose a lot of money on that. I want to be clear. Um, but that's my guarantee because I believe in this and I really, really do. But, and it's a gentleman's agreement just for beta, okay? But what I want to be extra clear about is with that refund agreement, please don't generate an entire movie and then say you hate the whole movie. Like, because it's one scene at a time, I would love, with our gentleman's agreement, for you to generate one scene and then give us honest feedback. Generate a second scene. Yes, if there's one out of every 10 scenes that's weird, we're very happy to like adjust it. But please, that's our gentleman's agreement. The second thing, part of that, is that we are going to do our absolute best to fix some of these problems. And some of it we can fix after the fact. And if I get with my team and we honestly say, oh yeah, we can like retroactively run a script and take AI and fix that, we will then do that for you. Okay. So the point is we'll do everything we can to make it better and not leave you with it. And if a refund is the solution, a refund, I'm very happy to be the solution, because I want you all to be able to try this in our beta. As risk-free as it gets, right? And that's my gentleman's agreement. Like, I hope you're happy with it and that we're not confronting any type of refunds. It'll happen, okay? But I believe in it enough, and that's why we're here today. But I also want you to know that if it's not perfect, we're here. So with that preamble, and I want to show you what an actual scene does, because again, like, I'm trying to take the fear away of like just press the button. But I was live with Jonathan on Friday night, and Jonathan Brielle, he's like the most amazing person. He's an incredible writer. He is really like, I mean, he's a show man, and the best way, he like makes and produces shows in these live formats, whether it's plays or events. He's just incredible, and he also is looking now to make films and these like short form musicals online. Which, Jonathan, if you're listening, feel free to link out to Vala and everything you're doing. I think there's folks here who would love it. I mean, Jonathan is like one of the brightest minds and very accomplished in musicals. Privileged that he just came into Creatorwood like all of you, and I was just like, oh wow, like this is cool. And he texted me and was like, hey, um, if you're like in New York, let me know. Like, I'd love to meet up. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's meet up. And I literally on Friday night, 48 hours after we launched the movie machine, was with him in his gorgeous studio, which you'll see. And we were like learning and walking through this process together of making movies. And there was this moment where he finally learned how to use all of the tools. And he was like, wow, okay, I can now adjust this start frame and adjust this and do this. This is exciting. But he was still scared to press the button to do a scene because he's like, I haven't updated any of this yet. I haven't updated my characters. I haven't really gone in and like gotten that start frame and storyboard to be how I want it. So like, this is scary. This is scary to press the button. But I was like, Jonathan, let's press it. I gave them the same deal I'm giving the folks for you that are doing this live, which is like, we'll cover the scene, we'll pay for it. So I deposited the coins in his account because it was like, let's just try this out. We're gonna put this on video, see what happens. And that's why if you're willing to come live and do this with me, like yes, and then again, gentleman's agreement for everyone else. Um, and I was like, look, if you're happy with what this did in one click, you didn't even adjust the AI. Think about it. He uploads the story, he sees the director's notes, he doesn't change it really that much. He sees the storyboard, doesn't really change it that much. Sees the start frames, doesn't really change it that much, like at all. And just kind of one clicks what AI does. What does it come up with? The answer is what you're about to watch. So let's have me share my screen. I hope the audio is good. We'll see. It's just like an early demo. And again, like please, like Jonathan, put everything that you are doing in the chat because Jonathan's like one of the best humans ever. So let me show you this because this is pretty magical. Okay.
Play the music in the background.
There's gonna be music on this. Yeah, get the full whatever it is. Let's just get the full experience of this.
Cool.
It might be janky. We'll see what happens.
All right.
It's just fun.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
Sometimes we search for signs, but the truth is in the roads we choose.
I like her.
Look, there's no fate pulling strings, just the path you're on. You need to see it before it's gone.
Oh, he's cool. Yeah.
This place. Oh, it's incredible.
It's Hughes. This is your dream.
Wow. There's so much of that that's good. There's so much of that that's good. It's. I mean, and there's so much to fix, and there's so much
yes.
to make it right. But there's so much of it that is like the quality of it is like unbelievable. It really is. It really is. I have to watch it again.
So that's what a scene. Jonathan is an amazing musician. Like his music, like is another level and another level above what AI does. But it's to show you that AI is certainly pretty cool. I mentioned to everyone, and I want to be really clear about this, that there's pros and cons to any type of media format. It's not adapting and adjusting everything perfectly. One of the problems right now is that it is adapting scripts more than it should. It is. That's something that we know. That's something that we're working on fixing. We are in beta. If you're not happy with your ingest, we'll give you your money back. Absolutely. 100%. Thank you. And yeah, these are all the things that like we're literally trying to learn in real time, the nuances of every single possible text story that could be uploaded to the platform, and then adjust how we handle it based on that. And that is not a trivial task. And that's something that we are getting a lot better at. And I think we're close to updating it on scripts, but just give us a little bit of time there. Okay, great. Can you add ambient sound? Laura, yes. Ambient sound for sure. The AI is going to generate it automatically for you. And then that's something that you can add in post as well. Did you want it in black and white, or is that a glitch? So Jordan, that was interesting. We looked at the start frames there and it was supposed to be black and white. The start frames actually had a lot of color and it became like a sort of happy accident, if that makes sense. Can we test image before we use it for the actual character? I don't know what you mean by testing an image, but yes. So Hugh, if you go to, I'll show you how for you all to get to support, because there is a link to support inside of Creatorwood, and it's prominent on every page. So I'll show you where to find it. Give me one moment to share my screen again, and we'll dive back into Creatorwood. This button right here takes you to our support. So this is its support. Submit a ticket, goes right to us. There you go. And all of our help guides. So that button is at the bottom right-hand corner of every single page you're on Creatorwood. So you can contact us there. And then of course, hello@creatorwood.tv. You have our email. We'll get you sorted immediately. Okay. So we saw a scene. Now let's go generate a scene together. So yes, and also okay, the one thing I will say, I'm just looking at the support chat, is um we did have a scaling issue where we had to push an update, and we're trying to do it so that we can like push updates to a different server from what the whole platform's running on, because there's not a single second now that something is not in like high use for us to be able to push an update. So we had to push an update to fix an issue earlier, and if you had something where it stopped, we'll be able to get that sorted. We're very grateful for all of you. Okay, let's talk about this. If it signs you out after an update's pushed, that's just part of, beta, and we're working on making it a smoother process, so it's not gonna like automatically sign you out. But let me go back to storyboard here. So now let's talk about the movie making side of things. And this will be really fun. I'm really excited for it. Let me actually refresh again. We should be good. So what I want to discuss now is what happens when you generate a video, and then how you can make the video better and the audio better. See how the image looks and sounds with dialogue. I understand what you mean. Not right now. That could be something we add. Will the machine allow our watermark? We can add that. That's cool. I like that. Jordan, that's fair. That's fair. We can, that's a fair statement. Yep, I've clicked the edit character edit button several times. The clock has started, but the button has gone back to the edit button. What should I do? So are you able to refresh your page and clear cache? That literally could be like, we push an update and you need to be on the latest version of Creatorwood because your local isn't synced with the backend. These are like funny things that we'll be able to fix at scale, but I would clear cache first. Try that. Oh, Andrew, you should be processed already. There's a possibility that you were caught up in a clog that we had when we first launched 3 days ago. So we can give you back your coins and have you try it again. It should take 30 minutes to an hour. If it takes longer than an hour and you haven't gotten an email, let us know, and we'll fix it immediately. So I've converted my account to creator, but do not see the movie machine at the top of the page. Refresh where I now see the movie machine. Perfect, Paul. That's great. That would be neat if we could somehow test how it looks in video format, like a rehearsal. Yeah, Crystal, I like that. Like, this is interesting, y'all. This is really good feedback. Like, can we get the audio and dialogue, just see the start frames before the video generator? I mean, that would be significantly cheaper to do. We could add that as an option. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So I think that's something we can definitely do. We can call it like rehearsal shot. Yeah, I mean, that would be, I think, another way to take it further. I like what you guys are thinking about. Yeah, Andrew, start over, and then we're gonna give you your coins back. Just drop your email to James. He can do it as soon as he can. Great. And then let me check here. Okay, great. Think things are relatively smooth. Let's open back up. Here we go. Back to Creatorwood. And I think I was in this tab. Let's refresh. So I guess we're live seeing together how we can troubleshoot Creatorwood too. Which, mind you, I understand when it's like, what's happening? Because I obviously use this all the time, and it's something I can always help y'all with. Okay, so let's go back to viewing our start frames. Let's talk a little bit about scene generation. So I'm not going to change these start frames or anything. I want to be clear. This is what I'd call one-shotting AI, or like one-click generating a movie, meaning all I did was change shot 7. If I was to be more careful, I should certainly change her hair. She doesn't have a scratch mark there. There's like things here, like little touches that will make a big difference. It's what you take a film from 90 to 100%. There's also some shots, honestly, that I think I should delete, like that I don't think are actually meant to that I don't think are needed. But I'm not going to go through and do that right now because I want to show you what's possible with literally just one click. Because to be honest with you, how you adjust these shots and how you adjust the start frames are your taste. It's your creative ability. So me walking you through exactly the changes I would make is less helpful than you seeing what's possible when you don't make any changes, which is kind of like, think about it as like, it only gets way better from there. And then two, we're going to go make some changes with y'all live. And I'm going to also, while I click this button, describe now how you can adjust this. So I just clicked generate. 10 shots are going to be created. It's going to be roughly an email wall. I'll get an email when it's done. It costs 200 coins, or exactly for 10 shots, $20. So this should be like just over a minute, most likely, roughly right around there. And what's interesting about this now is when we look at the things we can do, if let's pretend I didn't click this button yet, right? For purposes of live, I want to be able to like describe to you how it all works and then for you to be able to see it. But let's just pretend I didn't click this button, right? And I'm still going to make changes. I think it's very helpful to be able to delete shots from the storyboard that you don't think should make it into the final film. What we're doing is allowing you to archive it so that it doesn't actually take it away from the storyboard, but allows you to just know it's not being run. So A, that's happening. B is we already covered how you can edit shots, regenerate shots, right? Very, very helpful. Another thing that I would consider doing at this stage is adjusting the shot length, which will also adjust your pricing. Shorter shots are going to cost less money. I'm not suggesting for you to make all your shots short, by the way. I think you should generally, 6 is a good average. 4 can sometimes be a little too short, depending on the dialogue. 8 can sometimes be too long. What you do here is you click into the shot, adjust the duration. I can change it to 8 seconds if I want. It loads a little bit, takes a little bit of time to change it. Why it takes time is because we're actually adjusting literally the video prompt based on the duration. And that's like a important note. So I can now click check. Now, you could see it increase the pricing here. And that's, you know, we're already running this shot. So it's kind of too late. Another really interesting thing is happening. We're having some videos fail, and this is normal. I want to talk to you about why they're failing and then what we can do to get around this. So essentially, this did not pass. This shot went through VO. It did not pass VO's guidelines. We work with a lot of like AI model partners who are processing these shots, some of these shots for us. And the issue sometimes is that shots will kind of hit a content restriction, sort of like unbeknownst. And what's happening here is somewhere between life and death. Death, that word is triggering it. I'm confident in it. It's very, very sensitive right now. Over time, we're working to reduce these restrictions. Bear with us. The reason we haven't like really reduced them right up front is because if you reduce the restrictions too much, a lot of harmful content can be created, and we really don't want that. But safe to say this is too restrictive. It's part of beta. So I'm going to go and change this to not say death, essentially. This one likely got denied because we passed the context of the previous shot into the next shot. Therefore, what's probably happening here is it's, passing in some of that death context into the next shot and denying it too. So this is normal. Some of you have like themes to your stories that are more like violent in nature, and you might see some more shots generated just because fail just because of that. We're working on updating this in real time. The good news is you won't be charged for shots that are failed to generate. You won't be charged anything, so you are refunded, and we will then work with you to get around this in a good way, right? We're not trying to like kill the system here. Let me get to some of the questions here. For now, Paul, it's going to change the next couple months for sure. This is a fast evolving space. Are there any open source models under the hood of the movie machine? I've got gay, Satanist, true crime, horror story, nudity, murder. Right now, Reg, no, none of the open source models are quite good enough in terms of quality, but this is actively a thing we're working on. I think some of these scenes are about using like, what would it be called? Using essentially euphemistic language to get around it. Fight scenes should be okay. And yes, all this will be on YouTube later. This is where like AI is like still evolving. And this is where like as a team, we're investing in now, like a lot of our problems are like, how do we kind of push the frontiers here? Whether it's like getting around different restrictions or things of that nature that like lead to good storytelling, because like there should be like, it's okay that there's violence in certain films. Like to be clear, like I don't have an issue with that. But I guess for trust and safety reasons, there's concerns that it could go too far, essentially. And I understand it, but we're working on kind of alleviating that. I'm loading our storyboard right now so we can all see it. But I'll give you some tips on how to use this editor, right? Because there's kind of different ways I like to think about what AI does and what's possible that affects things. So my OpenAI comes down when I remind it that it is a paid service and a human. That's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious. It's interesting. I think it's going to evolve, and it's such a like a new and exciting space that these things will get sorted out with time. But let's see here. Do. So we're good. Yeah, it's because it's a usage thing. We are um scaling up quickly. So y'all understand how much happens when you upload a story. On average, we make 5,000 API requests and are inputting like 20,000 rows into a database about your story. That's like on average. So there's thousands of things happening at a time. So it's not like Creatorwood has millions of people using it, but it's like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes is immense to make it work. So even like 30 or 40 people in concurrence using storyboards can be a lot. So we're working on scaling it right now, and I think we'll have a solution in 5. So that's that. But in the meantime, because we got plenty to do. What were those metrics again, please? Hugh, are you talking about in terms of like API requests? Yeah, I mean, we're just like on the back end, depending on the length of your story, there's like 5,000 API requests that are made. Like for the average length script or novel, we'll make 5,000 of them to different models to like build your story. And there's oftentimes like 20,000 rows in a database that are going in, like different kind of columns and cells being filled in about your story. So it's pretty immense, like the sort of thing that's happening. It's not like you make one request to ChatGPT and it gives you back one request. We're essentially making 5,000 requests on your behalf. About your story, and then bringing it all together and many different levels of it. Talking about it like in more detail, like just it gets like very technical, but at a high level, like that's why like we've been having like constant issues because it's like we are literally having to like constantly scale up exponentially with more people. Because like for instance, this morning we've probably processed like hundreds of thousands of requests. There'll probably be over 1 million requests today. So we'll be able to scale up, but this is exactly the problem that like even ChatGPT, like when they go down and we've seen this happen if you've been a big AI user, it happens all the time. We're just facing it like at kind of like a scaled up level because the process of movie making is extremely intense. And that also comes to the expense of it. Like if you use ChatGPT, you're not paying $1,000 to use ChatGPT in a month. Most likely you're not. But the reason why you can, if you make a movie on Creatorwood, definitely spend $1,000 because there's that much happening. How tight between the frames does the storyboard need to be? Does it have to be like those little cartoon books kids make to flip the page or to watch the movie? No, it doesn't have to be that. I mean, especially because you're gonna have cuts, right? And we're gonna be adding like AI transitions in between the cuts to make it smoother. That's like one of the changes we'll add. But I think it's more so about seeing the visual progression of your story. Like if anything, if you're not having a character dialogue move a scene along, if you have so many storyboard like start frames looking similar, you might not be progressing fast enough. But this also depends on like the pacing of the scene, the pacing of the story. All this to say is like your mileage will vary by design. Can we rejoin the yes, Paul, rejoin. You'll be getting emails literally every hour about this because you signed up. So yes, you can rejoin. And this is all being recorded too, and will be uploaded to YouTube in 8 different sessions or something like that. We'll figure out how to cut it up. In a simple word, the service providers would let you rate, like you were talking about earlier from a question, movies. So if it's rated R, it will let you, but if it's rated PG, it will govern the content. Interesting, Dave. Interesting day. No worries, Francis. No worries. Yeah, we'll be here for another 5 hours and 20 minutes, which will be awesome. But I'm going to show you now. Our agenda will be a few things. So I have 4 slideshows left to show you guys. So a lot of like the actual information's coming, but we dove right into like the movie machine. But I want to dive into a lot of the business and how I think about all these different questions around it. But for now, what I want to do is share with you our pricing calculator, teach you all how to use it, and then start to talk about our like how you actually can then like plot out a pilot film. And then we'll dive back into like the video process. So a little improv. So let's dive into the pricing calculator. We'll pick up the hour talking about the pilot process, and then we'll start generating some scenes. And then we're going to dive in and make some scenes with all of you. So that's going to be fun. And then we'll wrap it up with like a few hours of some like really fun stuff. Okay. So let me share my screen. Let's dive into the pricing calculator. Boo, boo, boo. So we built this pricing calculator. So Antonio, how long would a 36-minute video take? This is a great question. And let's go answer it using the movie machine pricing calculator. So in terms of how long it would take, Antonio, this is like your mileage may vary. Like theoretically, you could make it in a day if you like went in and just like quickly edited your storyboards, pressed a bunch of buttons to generate the scenes, and you can make roughly 60 scenes, however long it takes you to make a scene. 60 scenes equals a 1 hour movie, roughly, because each scene's on average a minute. Therefore, you could theoretically do that in a day in a weekend, but for a lot of people, I'm finding it's going to take longer, not because it's impossible to do, but because you want to spend more time with your story, getting your start frames right. Now, going for perfection is the wrong mindset. Perfection AI literally don't exist. And also perfection doesn't even exist in traditional filmmaking. So I wouldn't go for perfection, but it does depend. Like some folks might want to spend a lot of time perfecting their storyboard, a lot of time perfecting their start frames. Other folks might spend much less. I like to think of it like novel writing. Some folks write a novel in 2 or 3 weeks. I would oftentimes do that as I wrote more novels. But my first novel took me 6 or 7 months. So that's also going to be a lot of how it uses the movie machine. Like as you guys build instincts for this new art form, it might take longer the first time around. And then as you get better at it, you're going to start to fly through it. Now in terms of the price, you said 60 minutes, right? So let's type it in. Let's type 60 minutes in. 30 minutes will just be half, right? So let's say we have a movie, the length is 60 minutes. What these settings do is describe how heavy you think your editing will be. I like to think of this like you kind of have to be aware of like your perfectionist tendencies. So like if you're someone who like is very perfectionist, like is gonna want to like change a lot of things, you would probably go extreme. And I don't recommend this, but if you're like regenerating a lot, we'll talk about what that looks like. But let's say you get 8 shots in the movie machine and like 7 of them are good, one of them is bad. But out of those 7 good ones, maybe 3 are excellent, 4 are pretty good. Some of you might be like, cool, I'm cool with all 7. The pretty good ones I can deal with. That one bad one I'll edit. And you might be like a light editor, right? But if you're like constantly regenerating and trying to get that perfect shot, you have the right to do that. It's your art. But just like, again, if you're trying to like edit and revise every book and every story and every word of your script to perfection, it's going to take you longer to get it out. Longer in this context also means more money if you're generating more video. So I recommend moderate regenerations. And that's, again, budget is the big key here, because I think a moderate regenerations bake in the expectation that you have budget to be able to adjust things, but not it's not unlimited, right? So like you can get a good film that you're happy with, but you're not like stretching the extra mile and like trying to get every second, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, and part of this calculation too, is a 60-minute movie is different from 60 minutes of footage. It's likely that you're going to cut out some areas of the AI generated film, meaning let's say I gave you a minute of footage, you might like 50 of those seconds and like all of the shots, but want to clip the beginning of one shot, the end of another shot. So that's how we get to this number, 50%. Dialogue density. This is just generally, it's a little bit more expensive to produce dialogue. I'm going to do like low/no change. Most of you will probably be in this front because even since I've made this pricing calculator, we've been able to like bring down audio costs. So I would just do low for all of you. But if you want to like pad in some padding into your calculation, you could do high. But most of you, like, dialogue isn't really going to affect your pricing anymore because of how we've been able to develop things. But this was like a couple weeks ago. So let's go down here. So now we see the total estimated costs for this. The base rate is going to be $1,200, regenerations, $600, which is like kind of like all your editing costs and start frames, all of that combined. You regenerating different clips of videos is kind of just your padding. Like it will cost you $1,200 to get that much video, right? But it's going to cost you some extra money to get to where you want to go. Now there's ingest. So it's like how long of a script or book is being turned into it. So if I have like, let's say a script that we do this by word count, and I don't recommend, this is such an inexpensive part of the process. It doesn't make sense for you to like cut back your script or book to try and save like 10 or 20 bucks, because like compared to the total cost of making a film, it's even an AI film, it's way better to like give us that data and be able to work with it. But let's just say my script is, I don't know, 10,000 words. Let's just go for it. Like, a 60-minute could be. So let's just say that's it. My processing fee is going to be roughly $55 for that. So I'm looking at a total cost of $18.55 to make an hour-long movie. This, by the way, I think will give most of you some buffer. Like my goal is that you're not coming in crazy over it, or if you are, you're doing it because you know you're doing a lot of regenerating. And ideally, that's not happening. Ideally, you're pretty happy with what you're getting and you're able to be in this moderate range. Light would be beautiful. Light would be amazing, right? But I don't think that's going to happen for most of you. And I think this is going to be like probably roughly what an hour of film costs, which to put that into perspective, like it's not no money. And it's honestly an amount that like is tough for probably a lot of you watching this to be able to afford. And this is where I want to talk about how we can make this cost manageable, because there's three really important things. One, this is not an upfront cost. You're doing this as you go. You can make a movie over the course of several months. No one's rushing you. Least of all me. There's no subscription to join Creatorwood. You're not paying us a subscription fee. It's all usage based, because we don't want to put pressure on people to like say, this is the month I have to make the movie and budget all that. No. The second thing is, as we'll talk about, you can release different parts of your movie, and maybe you actually make a show, and maybe the show is 10 minutes per episode and is 6 episodes. Same thing as a 60-minute movie. We're getting the same exact expense, but you only need to make, if it's one episode, 10 minutes, you only need to spend $355 on that. Whoa, that's a very different world. It's a very different world, right? Now you can start to get that out and potentially even, again, make a pilot. We'll talk about how you can make money from that pilot and start to be able to fund future production costs. Now, the third thing is crowdfunding is a thing. I'm going to talk about it. I think Creatorwood's going to be building crowdfunding natively into our platform. But imagine if you had viewers that were already excited about your show, were willing to pay you $20 up front to get early access to your show. And you can use that to fund movie machine costs. This is going to be our future play to really democratize this filmmaking. But you can go to Kickstarter right now and start any project. And I've done a Kickstarter project before, so I can help you all do this. And create a Kickstarter project to fund your film and see if people are willing to fund it. And we'll talk all about the marketing, the distribution, how to do all of this, how to like turn films into money. Because here's one thing that's 100% true. It's not really true. Even if right now, $2,000 isn't a huge thing for you, I recommend you really treat this like a business, right? And mind you, it's a beautiful piece of art you're getting for the price. And it's pretty amazing. It's in a way priceless to see your story come to life, but it's not actually priceless. It comes with a price tag. And with that, there's two things I know are true. One is I'm much more interested in someone who is going to use this movie machine to make 50 movies over the next couple of years than someone who's just going to make one and realize that is like their one investment they could ever make. Like I think all of you have way more than one movie or one show in you, or 20 seasons or 20 sequels, right? And we'll talk about how that's actually strategically a smart thing for your business. So the way that you're going to do that, I don't care what your financial position is, spending $100,000 on a movie machine over the course of 50 movies is kind of absurd. Like that's kind of a lot of money. Mind you, like even if you could afford that, is that really a good use of it? Like, no. The answer is we have to make this sustainable. We have to figure out how you can make money from all of this, which, by the way, is how all creative business works. And I face this in my own publishing career. And I'm going to give you that story at the top of the next hour of the pilot process, how to approach it, and what I've been through. Because when I was publishing, it cost me $4,000. Now I made some mistakes there, but it cost me $4,000, which would get me roughly a 120-minute movie or show out of pocket to publish my first book. That was a big investment. And I was literally making $9.25 an hour to fund that. My mom was very, very supportive. So she allowed me to save up all my money. I was very, very lucky. But that was like it was every penny to my name. And I'm unique and lucky and privileged. I was able to just do that and not have to worry necessarily about like, how am I going to pay the bills the next day? I was okay. But that was a big investment. I spent way more money in my book career than I should have. And if I knew what I'm about to share with you in this next hour, I would have saved thousands of dollars, thousands of hours, and it would have been way better. And I want to help you save this too. I actually literally want you to pay us less money right now, because I know over the course of the next year and 2 years, those of you who can save your money now and actually be able to spend and invest smartly into building a film business will make way more and do way better for both of us later. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to help you, but it's also going to help us. And it's because together we're going to play the long game here as this industry grows and as this evolves. And I want to give you what that looks like next. So it's going to be a very exciting session. But before we get there, I just want to share one last point, which is, even today, like I did spend $4,000 to get my first book published, but proof editing is going to cost you $500 for an average length novel. Cover is going to cost you $200. Like, just to get a book published is going to be roughly, not terribly, it's roughly the same range oftentimes to get a movie made with AI. Now, the difference is you can publish a cover you make in Canva yourself. You can publish, a book that you edited with Grammarly for very inexpensive, which is great, by the way. It's amazing. But roughly for the same price that many people are doing to like get a sort of professional touch with their novel, you can make an AI film. That is unbelievable. And it's that, and even if you get an audiobook made with a narrator, you're going to be above this expense. So what I love about this is that it's not farcical that people can make a business doing this, but there's no guarantee if you spend $1,000 or $2,000 in the pocket, you're going to make it back. And as I'll describe, most of you, like the numbers probably will work out where that won't happen. So what I want to have happen is you guys spend less money out of pocket to validate whether it will make money, right? That's what we're going to get into. Spend less money out of pocket and test if it will make money. 2 is obviously double and triple down when you are making money. Make more films, you'll make even more money. It sounds almost too simple, but I'm going to break down the math behind it. I'm going to break down the science to this, and we're going to talk about the pilot process so that you all can actually reframe how you think about using this movie machine. And then we'll use the movie machine live together. So we'll do that all starting in 8-ish minutes. Let's take a break right now. We'll come back. It's going to be a very intense session, but a very good one. We're going to shift from creation to business, then back to creation so that I can reframe how you think about what you're creating and why. And there are instances, and many of you here, I know we're going to be using this movie machine not for this purpose. You're going to be using it to try and create trailers to sell your books, which we'll talk about. You're going to be trying to use this movie machine to create pilots to then sell to Hollywood. Absolutely. That's all great. But the biggest thing is I encourage you all to view it as an investment. Maybe you're not running the exact business model I'm about to share with you, but the same principles still apply. Money goes in, money goes out. How can you minimize the money in and maximize your potential return? Seems pretty simple. And I feel deep responsibility to help you guys do this because I've mismanaged and misspent money on my own storytelling business. And I don't want the Movie Machine by Creatorwood to be the reason you do the same. Mind you, I think it's a beautiful technology, but it's, as always, about how you use it.